Good afternoon, everyone. Doctors, it's an honor for me to be here presenting the project that we have been developing during all these months. So, I will start by talking about who I am. I am Bera, engineering student, soon graduating, also plastic artist. I have been dedicated to the scientific field from astronomy in the high school to the space technology field now. I am a member of research groups, scientific papers, and I create a project of lunar habitats. Also, I was associate research assistant at a satellite control and monitoring center. And now I am proud to say that I am part of the YSP project as an associate researcher. I am really very grateful for this experience. We have learned many things in the project. We were with the expert and their Dr. Jen Blanc, whom I have already met before in other projects. She is great mentor, who always willing to guide us. In the project, first, we need to choose the location, either Moon or Mars. So, which in my case, so I decided for Mars. Uh, in these months, we create a space inside the habitats, how we can manage them for 100 people, but also we had the change to connect with more specialists in architecture and space habitats, like San Jimenez and Jonathan Clark. So, designing is great, but before designing, we need to discuss our requirements and the challenge for our habitat. On the right, we can see illustrated the safety challenge. For example, the problem of radiation, the temperature on Mars, and on the left, we can observe a pyramid of requirements from the base. The most important, what is the most important in the habitat is the basic life support, of course. And the second level is the environmental protection. Next is the technical operability, habitat sustainability, and later on the top, the spaces that simulate being like Earth and that help with psychology and well-being. So here we can see some case bacteria that could be used to live on Mars. For example, Sporosarcina will make bricks from Martian soil, and Avaena will produce oxygen, Deinococcus will protect us from radiation, and Pseudomonas will make the soil fertile. This is an example of how biology can be our best tool to become an interplanetary species. The diagram shows how the bacterium Sporosarcina pastori solidifies Martian soil. When it's mixed with urea, the bacteria produce enzymes that precipitate minerals in the soil, acting as a natural cement. The result is bricks as strong as earth concrete. This was also investigated by ISRO, so it's interesting. In the other image, we can see how cyanobacteria and Avaena close essential cycles. They use CO2 from the Martian atmosphere and solar radiation to produce oxygen and nutrient-rich biomass. The biomass could be food for other microorganisms or even for the crew creating a self-sustainable ecosystem. Of course, a habitat built with microorganisms is not made overnight. So we need to research and experiment with crowd plots and these bacteria on the surface on Mars, or also with regolith to produce materials later. So, as we can see in the flow diagram on the left side, we analyze what goes into the processor and what we can get out. And thanks to the bacterial cultures immersion environments, according to scientific papers, we could obtain oxygen, water, food, biopolymers, pharmaceuticals, or medicines. So this is very interesting. We arrive at a very important topic for the habitat. We will be our travel college on Mars. Not humans, but robots. In the project group, many people have talked about drones, Tesla system, automated chef, automation systems, and different very interesting types of robots. In my case, since my habitat is like a superorganism created from bacteria, I have considered using micro robots made in labs from the embryos of the African frog. As a result, we have the xenobots, which are half organic and half synthetic. They can help us with tasks that need maintenance at the nano level and micro level. Another robot that I really likes come from one of my favorite science fiction movies, Prometheus. I definitely think we need a humanoid android that has multiple abilities to talk like humans, to manipulate radiation from objects, to implement systems quickly, and more. And another one is the Sweetbot. It's a pet-shaped robots that can relieve depression and anxiety in crew members. It's more for psychological support for the crew. So now we are going to see how I started designing the habitat. Let's see how the terraforming process will be at the beginning on Mars. As we say before with the bacteria cultures, here we also have an image generated with prompts where the outside we see other microorganisms and adapted vegetation. In the inside, we see the hydroponic cultivation inside of the habitats with the xenobots. The xenobots is acting like pollination or some other function related to the habitat life support. So now we can start for the designing the habitat. At first, I imagine bacteria only attached to existing structures brought from Earth. Uh, Here are some of my initial habitat designs. In the left side, habitat with integrated biological coding. In the right side, habitat building material of commingled bacteria and Martian regolith. And the next slide, but with time, I development with new designs where the bacteria become an essential part of the architectural itself, even shaping its textures. For example, here a plan view looking down on the habitat and the right side close-up of habitat external texture. Well, for the interior, I talk about how a bacterial culture could slowly grow with research, creating spaces that evolve over time. From the first infrastructure to fully developed laboratory rooms in the left side. So I have a novel idea for my habit interior. Every cell Every thread is a microorganism working in symbiosis, transforming the Martian dust into a habitable refuge. Microorganisms regulate the O2, T, and humidity of the habitat. So, after searching exactly for the idea I had, and no I was precise. I say, one moment, I am an artist, why not show this idea with paintings? So I decided to make the painting which allows how the bacteria uh, attach to the regolith on Mars. They are even forming inside the mountains. My idea was that we could create a habitat inside with the help of the bacteria, which would provide us with oxygen, water, and more. We can see here the bacterium, and the dark blue is the windows in the from the habitat. So, and this is how Marsyst was born. Marxist is like a superorganism born from a question: how does life survive in strange environments? On Earth, bacteria form collaborative networks. They exchange nutrients, they adapt collectively. Why don't why not apply that logic to a Martian colony? It's not a case of every man for himself. It's a case of either we cooperate or we collapse. But it wasn't enough to imitate nature. We have to design systems. We automated food production and energy. But the question soon arose: who controls this resource? Who controls? The answer comes from biology again. Nobody and everybody. And now we arrive almost at the final part, talking about something very important is sociology. Maybe many of you will ask, what is this? It's definite of the study of astrosocial phenomena. I decided to create this image that shows it as a bridge of union of connection between engineering and STEM science for social science, and humanities. So, astrosociology is important to analyze also from the social context because many times as scientists and engineers we forget that technology is the tool, but the society is the reason. We get obsessed with the how to build a habitat, but we often ignore the for one and the why. We cannot design a society from a laboratory ignoring anthropology. Humans are not just production units to optimize. We are narrative, symbolic, emotional, and political. Sorry. So, our future habitat will requires people with diverse skills to be able to work together. We need to create a planetary community. This is the social system. I was working on ta- taking inspiration from Yanis Varoufakis, a very interesting economist. I read his book Another Now. He talks about the technology, AI, and governance, and how governance with the technology in the future. He doesn't talk about the space, but I will apply some of these ideas to our superorganism Marsyst. So, in the end, Marsyst is not only a habitat, it's a dream. It's the idea that life can grow even in the silence of another world, even living hand in hand with bacteria. It's the proof that science and art, technology and society must walk together if we want to become an interplanetary species. Thank you so much.